Yo, what's good, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking about how Claudio's new WR2 with the new stun animation and the wall stun or whatever the move's called. I'm not really sure if there's actually a proper name for it, but just talking about how that's actually buffed Claudio quite a lot. Even though it's only one little change, this has buffed him in so many different ways. So one way it's buffed him is, well, it's in 3 different steps. It's buffed his neutral game, which I'll go over. It's buffed his wall game a lot, which is what I'll go over, and it's also in a weird way buffed his low game. It's gonna sound strange me saying it now, but obviously I'll get onto it. But first, let's talk about it in the neutral. So as you can see, it's still +7. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is the animation on block. So as you can see, like, there's a little stagger there, and that's what you get. Whereas before there used to be like nothing really, just like the other character went back a little bit, and as you can see, you're a lot closer now. You're a lot closer, and obviously with the animation as well, which is what I'm going to get into. This is what's changed. So before the patch, you used to have quite a bit of a gap between WR2 on block and to what you could do next to the opponent. So with this, that means that in the previous patch, if you'd have done WR2, your next follow-up was going to be something along the lines of a forward 1+2 or another WR2. It's pretty much what most people would do after a WR2 in the neutral, because of the pushback. Now that there's no pushback on the WR2s, it still pushes them closer to the wall. But now that they're a lot closer on block, you can do stuff like back 3, down back 4-3, sort of jabs as well, and they can't be backdash out of. Whereas before the patch, you could backdash out of these any of these. So there were no like really a mix up. A lot of the time, most characters could just backdash out of a lot of stuff you want to do, unless you do something like back 1 or forward 1+2 or another WR2, which technically cannot. Like, it can be a frame trap if your WR2s are quick and stuff, but a lot of the time it's not really a frame trap, because you can be jabbed out of it unless you instant all the time. So that's the good thing in the neutral, is that now you have you've got a lot more onto it. Also, a lot of characters cannot step down forward 3 after it. So if I just put it on record, because you'd step down forward 3 to the left, I'll even show you it both ways. So if I block this and try step left, I get hit, and if I try go right, I get hit. So this as like, you used to be able to like step that because of the pushback. A lot of the time you have to dash in down forward 3 anyway, but you could get away with doing like, if you do a down forward 3, people could step it to the left quite often. Characters like Zafina and I think Lillian that can still always step it to the left because they've got insane side steps, but like if you're playing as Claudio, this can't happen. Now in terms of the wall game, this is also where his this is also where his low game's been buffed as well. So the way it works at the wall now is oh god, not my bad. You are now plus 21. So obviously if the opponent's not holding back, you can do back 1. They have to hold back. There's nothing they can do apart from hold back. They can't step block. Like, you try to do a side step then block, you cannot do that. You don't have the frames for it. You have to block and hold back, otherwise you eat a back 1. Like, you straight up eat a back 1 if you're not holding back, which is really powerful, because that wasn't a thing before. So that's classed as a buff itself, that they have to be holding that back button. There's no backdash input. You can't be backdashing, you can't be stepping, you can't do any of that. You need to hold back. The other thing is, this is where I think you really need to get instant WR2 down, because if I just put it on guard or super, I might not get loads in a row here, but I'll try. If you can do, I know obviously I've got a lot of work to do on it, but all they can really do is take that. Like, would you risk ducking? Would you risk it? Not so much, but just because of this, and obviously if you throw this out, it's not worth ducking. So again, you could rinse this, and then people are going to be like, well, all you've got to do is just hold back, really, until like they give the turn up with a back 1 or a down forward 3 or a back 3 or whatever mid they want to go for. This is where, in my eyes, if you think about it like more clear, this has buffed his low game. So everybody knows Claudio's low's not great. Frame wise, not great. Oh shit, got all in it. 0 on hit. 0 on hit, so technically anyone's go. -2, not your go. -3, not your go. This is where I think his wall game's being buffed at the wall. When you do the rolling 2 at the wall, you can go for a sidestep mix-up. You've got the frame advantage to do that. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. You can just do if you want to do a straight back 1 or not, or you want to rinse while running 2. That's fine, right? When they're going to be watching, like if you're just doing while running 2 over and over and over again, they're just rinsing it. And they're just going to stand block. Eventually, once they see this, like especially a better player who knows frames, they're going to think that's their god. This is where this has buffed his low game, in my opinion. So because you've got the instant 1 and 2 mastered, you've done 2 or 3 in a row, and you've given your go up basically by doing this. Doing this has done damage, and it's going to really, because of the pressure that this new 1 and 2 create, is really going to want people to take their go, whether they jab, whether they down forward 1 or anything, right? This is where his low game's being buffed. So the low is technically free, because if they're ducking, obviously if you're rinsing 1 and 2, I get it, but if they're ducking after 1 and 2, like this sort of 1 and 2, then they're crazy, and then you can just rinse them with back 1. But if not, and you're doing so many running 2s, and then you do this, they're going to want to press, right? They jab, shoulder beats jab all the time. So if you do this instead, and you notice they're jabbing after every time, you can shoulder. If they're mid checking, or even if they're jabbing, and you've done this, just a simple sidestep into a down forward 3-1 confirm is so effective. I've played a lot of sets. I haven't streamed it too much, but I've been playing a lot of strong players, and I've been rinsing while running 2 just to try to practice my while running 2 to be consistent. And as soon as I hit them with this, everybody wants to retaliate, because this is the opening for you to take your go. And the sidestep, like depending on the character, obviously a lot of the characters I've been playing have been sidestep left into down forward 3-1 has been so powerful because of this while running 2. Because of this while running 2, people are just wanting to take the go all the time. And then as soon as they want to take the go after that and that slight step, it's just game over. The pressure that this has created, and like keeping them closer in the open, it's just a big buff in my opinion. It feels like more of a pressure character. And although his lows haven't been touched, people want to press after his lows a lot more now than what they did before, just because of this, the frame advantage that the new WR2 creates at the wall. So in my opinion, this is a really big buff for Claudio, and I reckon I'll see people that have got the execution for WR2 be playing him a lot more. If you're struggling with the instant WR2, I'll leave a video in the top of the comments. It's an old video, but it's still exactly the same as what you do now on how to learn how to do instant all the time. But if you can master this, you see how I mess up sometimes? Try to keep him to the wall. It's okay to mess up. Everybody messes up. But if you can practice this like straight down, and it still pushes quite far back to get him to the wall. But if you can just keep rinsing this at the wall, you're just gonna put that in their head that they need to duck, and they eat a back 1. They need to press after a low, and I feel like it's just this one little change has changed so much for Claudio, really. But that's just my opinion. Obviously, I'd like to hear what some of you lot think in the comments. If you think that it's a weakness now, which I personally don't see how it could be. I think it's a very strong buff, but you know, I'd like to know. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.